Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. We have some major Helldivers 2 news, we have patch notes, we have community questions, and if you've watched my previous video and we were speaking about maybe new modes and a new angle that Helldivers 2 might want to take, and these have just about been kind of either answered or hinted at over the last kind of 24 hours or so, especially through the Discord. But let's all get into it. We'll start off just with the patch notes. So this is what we got straight off the bat. As we've issued a patch for players to address crashes and other general fixes. Now, just to tamper anybody's expectations, I'm sure maybe you've seen this, but it's nothing got to do with the gun balancing, and it has nothing got to do essentially with how the performance of any of the weapons or the warbond itself has been taking place. So what we have is more so the crash fixes. Nothing with the spear. I know people have been asking about the spear as well, how that patch might be coming out, but we have got confirmation and might be out later this spring, but it is in development right now. So what we've seen here was like, we basically seen fixed players getting stuck on mission summary screens when host leaves, fix the issues of non-purchase super credits not being visible in the warbond overview screen, only in relevant Japanese release, so it's only relevant to Japan. Optional account linking now available in account sections and in-game settings, optional account linking, so on. So these are the kind of fixes that they went through, and the AR61 tenderizer is now being color corrected. People have noted that down, that the color didn't actually match in the trailer of the warbond or anything like that. So people did get a bit, hefty and how that was going to kind of go through. But then we move on to kind of the known issues. So look, there's still a lot there. Look, players may not have the option to send or accept or decline friend requests. It's still an ongoing thing. Players may not have an option to block other players. Games may crash when player changes the text language while on a mission. There's a few things in there, but like it's just kind of more kind of life expectancies of the game, so people can kind of monitor through the UI and making sure that everything is flowing when you're getting into the game. I'm not going to break all of these down because it is lengthy, but basically it's going to kind of give you some indications of when the arc kind of thrower and stuff like that maybe is misfiring, or weapon shoot below the crosshair aiming down the sight. Little things like that just makes it feel a little bit more comfortable when you're in the game. But then we do move on to more pressing news outside of the patch. So basically we've seen that the announcement from Sony's earning calls have sold over 12 million units. It's crazy to think that we've more Helldivers than there are Swedes. It's so cool. What a massive achievement for everyone involved in realising Helldivers 2. A massive thank you to the community for your support, passion and dedication to the fight for democracy. Now, to see that there's 12 million units sold of Helldivers 2, hopefully there could be a huge indication to Sony to kind of really start getting their act together with the restrictions that they have in place. It is now going beyond a joke, and it is not nice because we still have other issues coming out in terms of how players have unlinked PSN accounts when it was cancelled, and we'll get into that a little bit later in this video. But basically there was a quick question asked. I want to ask the void between platforms, but F it, Helldivers United, and then the CEO replies, "You sir are a true patriot," which is kind of how the game has kind of brought everybody together in terms of, PC players, PlayStation players, or console players. And yeah, look, we all wanted to come to Xbox. Reason being is we don't really care. We just want more Helldivers to help us out, especially when we want to get through the major order, which we're probably going to fail due to the kind of off-peak times when people aren't online for Helldivers 2. But also we move on where Evil Boss, I would love to see primaries getting basically a good overhaul. That's basically what he says. It's too much to ask for. Our CEO is doing a major internal push on balancing a lot of the meetings and a lot of the chats going on. So the AR is an AR for a reason. We see that shotguns are outweighing the ARs. We've had this in our previous conversation, in our previous video, and even a submachine gun is outweighing the ARs, but the ARs really need to do the damage they're supposed to be doing. Most people are still using shotguns in the game because they just feel it's the only thing that can maybe have crowd control or does any sort of damage that makes the player feel like they're in a little bit of control of the situation that they might be in, and we all probably agree on that. The guns do need a lot of balancing. We want to feel like that we're not relying heavily on our stratagems, that our kind of gunplay is up to par. It's a better experience. People will enjoy it more. You'll get more cool moments, and people want to feel like they're in control of their fights. So basically, we also got a question: if the and I love this one as well. If the Patriot exosuit has a limited amount of rockets in order to be realistic, Rocket Devastator should too. And I totally agree with this. Not that the Patriot exosuit should have more rockets, but if it's limited, only be able to shoot rockets physically onto the model. Rocket Devastator should have 12, maybe more in the back space, but they get an infinite amount. Basically, these guys have a 1 second cooldown for rocket spam and shoot 4 at a time. It doesn't feel fair to how they can shoot infinite suppressive fire rockets ragdolling you long enough so they load up per second volley, not giving you enough time to actually aim at the head. The amount of rockets they put out should be limited to the big enemies like hulks and tanks. I totally agree with this. If we only have a limited amount of rockets in their exosuit, why shouldn't they? They tell us that we can't be overpowered, but you know, a lot of the automatons are overpowered when it comes to the amount of, you know, damage they can output on us and how much we get pushed back. But then we also got a huge kind of pullback here. Basically, it was still banned for nothing. Just over a week, I've been banned for Helldivers 2 for unlinking my PSN account, and the devs still have done nothing. Sony. Basically, when Sony is told that you didn't need a PSN account, people did unlink those accounts, but they've been banned. I'm not too sure when it says banned that they just can't play the game, but after unlinking, basically you are shut out of the game even if you pay for it. But look, TwinBeard has replied to this as well, and it's not the only case. I did kind of question this a little bit, maybe try relink the account, but essentially it seems like it's an ongoing thing in the community. Some people have kind of pushed back and they didn't really want to have the PSN account there in the first place. First it was mandatory, then it was pulled back, but then TwinBeard does come out to say, I've seen you on this before and I'm bringing this up with some of the first thing tomorrow. Don't know all the details, but to me it sounds like you've fallen between the chairs and no one wants to own or solve the problem. This is huge. TwinBeard is absolutely right. When they issued the statement, what we seen from like Pirate software, it was 30 hours in between. People obviously linked their account and go, I didn't want to link my account in the first place, so they unlinked the account, and then they got to a point of where they were like, you know what, grand, fine, I'll jump back on Helldivers 2, but unfortunately been locked out of the game and it is impossible for them now to play the game, and it doesn't seem like they've got around to having a lot of this in place. So people are still struggling with this, and it is a big major issue for the Helldivers 2 community. Basically, we also have another question. Just over a week I've been banned from Helldivers 2 for unlinking my PS. Same thing. I've now forwarded a question about this to some information to Sony. I can't guarantee that I'll get a response, but if we do, I'll write or DM you here. The situation seems to be absurd and should be resolved. I can't promise it will, but if we can help, we will. So like, it just shows that more and more times we go through this, that the PSN issue, it just seems like Arrowhead Studios just don't have control whatsoever. They might be able to voice a little bit of their opinion. Whether or not that gets heard is completely down to Sony, and Sony have basically been ignoring the player base of this game. But we also move out to TwinBeard again. TwinBeard, there was a poll, and I love this one. There was a poll asked the community, as we as a community replied that we want to get more biomes. Most people we've seen here asking for cityscapes, which would be absolutely amazing, and if there's any news in this, it would be incredible. I don't know about you, but I would love to see cities in here. I would love to see, you know, anything and everything other than more of the rural space. I can understand it, but maybe different parts of the planet. It would be so cool. Imagine seeing us destroying a city with a hell bomb, or even just the devastators or the bugs crawling up the walls. It would be so cool. I would genuinely love it. But this is the part that really caught me, because we did have this conversation in my last video under the comments. No news, new biomes, modes, etc. are definitely plausible, though we hope HD2 will be around for many years. It won't be if we don't add new varied content. Sure it could, Lex Counter-Strike, but odds will be better with more stuff. So basically, we want new various modes, and I've been clamoring for this for a while. I think it does need a change up, or just even a little tweak to it, and I'd be really enjoying it. But guys, that is all for me. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit a like, hit a sub, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this information, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I will see you on the next one. Have a great day.